So we were going from this accessibility software company that it'd sell it for $15,000 or $20,000.
Hmm.
And our story was accessibility, accessibility, accessibility. All the work that we did with you guys told a bigger story. And
Hmm.
so when we would get into prospect deals, we could now turn a 20K accessibility deal into a 100K marketing performance deal, 100,000 US dollars. And I think at one point we had something like, when I joined, we had like a handful, like 500K deals in the pipeline. I think right now we have over 50 or 60. And so the messaging is working because everybody's talking about this bigger story that's Siteimprove, and we're connecting it up to value. I could talk about like how that impacted sales performance, average deal size, quota attainment. Like it made a really big difference. I'll tell you, like everybody I talked to said, "Hey, my gosh, like I saw what you're doing on LinkedIn." Like I went to the Optimizely annual conference. I spoke on their main stage, and their folks came up to me. They're like, "How do you do all this video like all the time? Like it's incredible." I'd also hear from other people, like they wouldn't tell this to me, but they're like, "Hey, I feel like I watched those videos before I interviewed Kev, or before Kevin interviewed me, and I knew who he was. Like I understood who he was. He was like, I understood his personality and style." I'll give you one example. We were interviewing for a CFO, and the CFO, both of them at the time, I was around that time I did the whole like revenue marketing center and stuff. And they're like, "Hey, I read your thing and I watched your videos." And he's like, "I get it." I mean, that changed the complete course of the conversation versus like, "Tell me about yourself. What do you do?" I mean, we were in the details. I remember when we first engaged with you guys, I was like, okay, they're going to help us just produce a bunch of videos, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, then you guys came in with this like 58 question kind of questionnaire. And I'm like, "Oh, what's this?" Like, and then I remember like you guys had a methodology and approach, and it wasn't around video production. It was really around extracting kind of the corporate story. I think you guys are storytellers, but I'll save the best for last. So I was at the Optimizely annual user conference, and I was sitting around the booth with a couple of our BDRs, like the sales development reps, the guys right out of college who make the calls. And the guy was like, "Hey, I watch all your videos, and then what I do is I go through and I create all the notes on what you talk about, and then I practice it, and then I use that in my calls for the next day." And I was like, "Wow." I said, I was like, "Are you the only one that does that?" He's like, "Oh no." He's like, "All the BDRs like sit down, they watch the videos, and then they go out and test that message into the market." And he's like, "It works." And I said, "Well, I do all that stuff on internal enablement calls." And he's like, "Yeah, but that's not how people listen, like learn." He's like, "Nobody cares. It's like in the middle of the day, or you got calls, you got this." He's like, "Those videos have been the best way for me to get on message." And so I wanted to share that with you guys because I never thought that would have been an enablement tool, but it absolutely became one.